This is High on Life. We're here on PlayStation 5. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is a ridiculous, over-the-top comedy game where you play as just this random earthling that gets thrust into the middle of a bounty hunting experience. It's got comedy from, it's basically kind of like Rick and Morty type comedy. So that's either something that you're like really into and you'll find this really funny, or it's something where the humor might be a little hit or miss for you depending on, again, the type of humor that you do enjoy. So on the PlayStation 5, we have two graphical options. There is kind of your performance, which is 1440p at 60 FPS. And then there's a quality mode, which is 4K 30 FPS. Both are dynamic and both have performance problems that I've noticed. There is screen tearing, there is definitely frame rate drops. And yeah, we're just kind of showing this mode off just so you can see it a little bit, get an idea of things, just see the difference in like, visual fidelity between the two options. So yeah, it's not the best of kind of performance ports. Like when I did first check this out on Xbox, it had issues as well. So I'm not necessarily totally surprised, but at the same time, I kind of had figured with the, gap of time between the two that we would get something that was a little bit more, well, performant or smoother and whatnot. So that is a little bit disappointing. So you'll see that in the more open spaces you go to, they'll have like, I think it's really quite visible in the square, the performance problems that are present. But anyways, let's dive in and start talking about the game and playing it. I wanted to show off the beginning of the game, but then I was like, essentially, there was too much chit-chat, and I didn't really show off the gameplay style as well. So I think this part is decent. It's like a little bit into the game, but it's not enough into the game that you're going to really find anything too spoilerish. But essentially, the lady at the beginning there, that's your sister. You guys were going to have a party. There's these aliens. They come in. They invade Earth. And, they want to use the humans for a specific type of task and or experience. And, you find this gun here. And this gun teleports you to this place where you just saw that your house was. And then you become a bounty hunter. Yep, you are you're a bounty hunter. So that's the game. You're like, I think like a young adult, and yep, now you're just kind of going around shooting stuff. So I have played this, through on the Xbox version, so it is something I can actually talk about from a narrative perspective. Like, the game is pretty solid, it's enjoyable, but as I said, it's the branding of humor. If you like what they're kind of doing in regards to some of the jokes and everything like that, it's quite fun. If you're not into that type of humor, it's going to be like hit or miss for you. I think some of the stuff landed pretty well, like some of the stuff was legitimately funny, and some stuff I was kind of like, I don't know. And as I said, it's really kind of subjective because this is such a humor-focused game. It is a shooter, and as you can tell, your guns talk to you. There are a variety of different guns you get, and you can upgrade those guns too. So the general key focus of this game is you go in on a mission. They're linear, basically. There's like some slight side stuff you can do. And then you, I always wanted to kill that kid. Anyway. Yeah, anyways, you go in, you do your mission in these places, and then you go back. And you upgrade and use your abilities to get new abilities, and your suit allows for better traversal over time, and better gear for your weapons. There are different difficulties if you need things to be easier. It's a cool concept. I do kind of wish they had some more environmental variety, because they do tend to reuse some of the segments fairly often in the game. Like, you'll revisit this particular area a few times, and that was one of the things that I kind of was like, oh, okay. Because the places you do visit, like, from a sci-fi perspective, they're really kind of cool and very messed up. but it's just kind of like you only visit so many areas and then you kind of go back, and you're not really getting necessarily like a lot of like replay value, but like you can like replay the game, or you can go revisit areas and find some extra little secrets that are here or there. It's not terribly difficult to play, it is kind of fun, you're just going and blasting aliens, and it's incredibly messed up. Like, the humor and what happens in this game is genuinely really weird and over the top and ridiculous, and that's where I said that Rick and Morty type comparison, where it's just, yeah, it's pretty messed up and weird. For sure, it's one of the stranger games I've played, but you'll either really like that, or you might not, and it's gonna, you know, like I said, it's gonna vary so greatly based on like what you're into. I will also mention, for those that do finish the game, be sure to take an extra little look around, because you might find that there's some extra stuff, and I have a video on the channel showing that, because there are some things that do kind of really tease other stuff and show things, but they're not necessarily something that you're like kind of pushed into, if that makes sense, so that is something to keep in mind. But yeah, for me the biggest thing is like, it's a cool sci-fi world with weird guns, quirky guns. Every gun has like a different you know, personality and style. You can talk to some of the people, you can experience some of the world of this, you know, environment, and it's kind of, it's solid. Like, it's a solid, easygoing, fun shooter with some laughs. You get like a fun arsenal of weapons, you visit some different places, you go and you do your bounty. Because like, as I was kind of setting up, every level is, you get a mission, you go through it, you do some stuff, there's some silly things said, and then you end up like doing a bounty, which will be like a boss battle, and then you kill that, and you come back, you get some money, you upgrade your stuff, and you go out and you do it again, and sometimes you retread areas, and you know, that's the experience. But yeah, the part of it being a comedy is like kind of the, you know, the dialogue, right? Is chatting with people and, you know, getting information. Is he actually like the main objective? I guess I gotta ask him some more questions to get what I need. But I do find that the performance hindrance is a little disappointing on this one, because I was expecting something smoother after so much time. Like, back in the day on like the Xbox when it launched, it was, you know, we had like one graphical option and it was just like not super smooth. So it is interesting that they did update that, and then, you know, the PlayStation version kind of inherited those two graphical options. Something actually kind of visit on a future console down the road as well would be an interesting thing. But I mean, without the super high-end mode, I guess we'll experience that, because it was like a dynamic 4K 60 that was like just the default, and now that's kind of gone, and it's like, oh, okay. So yeah, kind of intriguing. That was weird. Alright. Huh. I wonder what that was. Okay. I'm not gonna think about it too much. The screen went dark for a second there, a bit odd. But, yeah, High on Life. I think it does provide some intriguing experiences, some wild combat. You're probably going to find yourself laughing, at least in some situations here or there, and if you don't, I mean, I guess it's just the humor isn't for you, which is a bit of a shame, because it can kind of be quite funny, I think. Like, these guns say some messed up stuff, and you don't get a whole lot of humor like this, if that makes sense. Like, you know, there's not too many, particularly games. I don't think we get too many games that are just trying to be funny. You know, it's even more of a tonally hard thing to do, but, you know, this kind of, like, sort of adult-type humor is really quite good. I mean, I guess it is, like, a little bit more immature humor, but, yeah, this game has some, like, really messed up stuff in it. Just really trying to put that forward in case you didn't really feel that the first time through. Like, some really, really strange stuff. So you're essentially, you know, you're shooting through the levels as you're telling, we're mulching guys, jokes are told, weird things are happening, collectibles are found, you'll do some platforming, some parkour, The longer along you are in the story, the better like the weird gear and the weapons and stuff you have is. So you're able to do crazier things, get to the crazier places faster. It just opens up your experiences in some really exciting ways because you're actually, you know, seeing something in a different way. Okay, it's this is a pretty messed up spot, I think, too. This is where we meet some new fun stuff in the arsenal, that's for sure. But yeah, everyone's got their own little like quirks, and then you improve the quirks of the guns, and
yeah, we're here to buy a knife.
And you do get some slight choices. Like it doesn't change the story much, but like it does give you a little bit of a feeling of kind of choice. That's our knifey pal. He's maniacal.
He basically only talks about wanting to kill people.
And I love the look of all the creatures in this game. Like there's a really good variety of creatures, and they all have such cool animated like bodies and stuff. Like it really does look quite neat.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Fuck yes, thank you. Pleased to meet you. I'm Knifey. Now use me. Oh fuck yes. Yes, fuck yes. More. I need.
And that's where I'm saying where
Point me at your raw, fleshy little tummy and jab.
there's some messed up stuff that happens, and the story is also like actually pretty deep and intensive, and it's not like it's necessarily, you know, gonna smash narrative standards, but it does have some surprising depth and some twists and stuff along the way. But it's just kind of a fun, sort of adventuring, shooting kind of game. I really like this type of genre when it's,
Okay, definitely 9-Torg, but let's put a pin in the whole gene thing.
when it's done well.
My tether ability. I'm more than just a knife, you racist. I can tether too. Look up and latch on.
Okay.
Fucking cool, right?
So now we can jump around, and the movement has been increased.
Well, all right. Where to next?
See, that's what I was saying, is essentially you just continue to get new tools, and you can visit new places, and meet some different creatures. Now we can do that, we can get some coins.
How many clones are there?
Who the fuck cares? Stop thinking so hard and just look for the big sludge work sign. I want to stab somebody. Oh, a lug locks. Use me. I can open those fuckers up real good. And there's a good inside for you too. Win-win. Yes.
Okay, is the knife done talking? I think we're supposed to go this way. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. We gotta flip the thing with the flip thing. Yeah, they have their secondary rate of fire too, the different guns, so they kind of shoot different stuff. So you'll find different weapons work best for different scenarios, obviously, and then some of the boss things require different stuff as well. And there actually is quite a bit of depth to this. I just wish you visited more places. Was one of my biggest hookups. Was just kind of like, it was such a cool sci-fi world. Like I think there's even like a sci-fi Applebee's or something like that, or at least a joke of it later on. I think it was Applebee's. There's some kind of restaurant joke thing. It's hilarious. But it's like, you know, you just kind of sit there and you're like, oh, I wish we were visiting, you know, new locale, seeing some new stuff. Because I'm like, it's cool, but I just really want even more to visit and see. Oh yeah, this area is pretty fun. Whoop. Because yeah, with the hook, you're kind of like moving through the environment a little differently. And as I said, it's not too gruelingly hardcore. I mean, obviously, if you want more of a challenge, you can, but it was just kind of like a fun, easygoing shooting game where you blast and destroy stuff, end some lives, do some weird things, have a couple laughs along the way, meet some really, really bizarre characters and creatures, and then kind of figure out what's been going on. Like, there is a lot of mystery and intrigue behind all of the, you know, behind all of what's happening, and a deep, surprisingly set up lore where it's like, what has really happened, and what's going to happen, and all that stuff. And then there's all these weird situations with, like, your sister as well, because she's a bit of a loose cannon stuck in space having nothing to do, which was so Like, it really is just, like, so out there. Like, I don't know too many games that just, like, kind of go this ridiculous with the concept. Oh yeah, we gotta find this Torg person. And the knife is just so ridiculous. See, it's just out for blood, this knife. It's also, like, really well aware of, like, what you're kind of doing. Like, I mean, you are straight up just killing folks and stuff like that, and you're, like, a bounty hunter. Not saying you're necessarily, running into, like, the coolest of critters and stuff, like, as in the nicest of people, but, you know. The game understands the insanity of it and lets you do stupid things, too. Like at the beginning there, when I killed that kid. Totally worth it. And this is like your first boss kind of thing. I love how absurd the what is it that some of the choices are in this game. Like, it's just the absurdity of it. It's just ridiculous. I'm just like, I'm thinking more and more of the game as we continue to, like, fight this stuff. Like, it's just so weird looking. And this is where you gotta go on this stuff. I remember we were able to, like, glitch on the pipes when we were first doing this, but I don't know if you could still do that now. But yeah, boss fights, sort of like this. They just mix things up a bit, give you some different things. And yes, this is basically just like a taste of what the overall game is. There is so much to this experience. So many wacky moments. Where's Torg coming up next? Oh, Torg, come on and die. You're really inconveniencing me. You know, by living and all that stuff, it's a bit of a pain. Yeah, I'm just out here trying to survive, rail to rail, smashing some stuff, shooting some things.
I'm the strongest out of all the Torg clones. I'm impressed you made it this far. My own soldiers are extremely strong.
Oh yeah, there's some twisted. I mean, we've already seen, you've probably heard some twisted things, but I gotta say, there's some, like, really twisted stuff that happens later on. The history and the lore of this universe is just utterly ridiculous. It really shows you that society is just, really, really bizarre. Could you please die? I don't know, I'm just kind of glad that this is finally available on PlayStation, though, because it is a fun, quirky, weird game of this gen. It's just ridiculous. Can I just kind of knife and get this done with?
If I'm going out, I'm taking you with me. Just stay alive. I think she's basically done for.
And it's very aesthetically pleasing. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like the use of color and stuff in this is so vibrant and beautiful.
feel, bounty hunter? I feel pretty good. I really didn't know if we'd be able to pull it off.
All right, it's time.
Time for what?
Time to carve out a piece of her. I'm thinking we go with a full slab of thigh meat, but since it's your first, I'll let you pick.
Jesus, are you kidding?
What kind of bounty hunters don't know that you've got to bring back proof of the kill to get paid?
Oh, God.
Oh, don't be such a goddamn baby.
Oh, God, I can't look. I can't.
Oh, fucking hell, she's a gusher.
Couldn't we have just taken like a fingernail, some spit, maybe a blood sample?
Yeah, sure.